Articulation of consonants. Consonants are sounds that are produced with the articulators more or less close. That is, they are produced with a close articulation, going completely together to only approximating. Wide apart, consonants are said to be voiceless. When they are closely together and vibrating, consonants are said to be voiced. Now, what makes one consonant different from another? Producing a consonant involves making the vocal tract narrower at some location than it usually is. We call this narrowing a constriction. Which consonant you are pronouncing depends on where in the vocal tract the constriction is and how narrow it is. It also depends on a few other things, such as whether the vocal folds are vibrating and whether air is flowing through the nose. We classify consonants along three major dimensions: places of articulation, manner of articulation, and voicing. The place of articulation dimension specifies where in the vocal tract the constriction is. The voicing parameter specifies whether the vocal folds are vibrating. The manner of articulation dimension is essentially everything else: how narrow the constriction is, whether air is flowing through the nose, and whether the tongue is dropped down on one side. For example, for the sound da, the place of articulation is alveolar. The narrowing of the vocal tract involves the tongue tip and the alveolar ridge. Manner of articulation, an oral stop. The narrowing is complete. The tongue is completely blocking off airflow through the mouth. There is also no airflow through the nose. Voicing is voiced. The vocal tracts are vibrating. Voicing. The vocal folds may be held against each other at just the right tension so that the airflow past them from the lungs will cause them to vibrate against each other. We call this process voicing. Sounds which are made with vocal fold vibration are said to be voiced. Sounds made without vocal folds vibration are said to be voiceless. There are several pairs of sounds in English which differ only in voicing. That is, the two sounds have identical places and manners of articulation, but one has vocal folds vibration and the other doesn't. The theta of thigh and the tha of thigh are one of such pair. The others are. In the following schedule, it is given in details a comparison between sounds that are voiced and voiceless. The other sounds of English do not come in voiced and voiceless pairs. The h sound is voiceless and has no voiced counterpart. The other English consonants are all voiced: the R sound, the I sound, the W, the J, the M, the N, and even the ing. This does not mean that it is physically impossible to say a sound that is exactly like. For example, an N except without vocal fold vibration. It is simply that English has chosen not to use such sound in the set of distinctive sounds. It is possible even in English for one of these sounds to become voiceless under the influence of its neighbors, but this will never change the meaning of the word. The consonant charts. It is often useful to display the consonants of a language in the form of a chart. There is a conventional way of doing so. Columns show places of articulation arranged roughly from the front of the vocal tract to the back. Rows shows manners of articulation. Within each cell, the symbol for a voiceless sound is shown towards the left of the cell, and the symbol for a voiced sound toward the right. The following is the chart for English consonants. In this labeled chart, summary of English consonants, you can see it in detail, and this would be it. Thank you extremely, Professor, for your appreciated efforts, and I hope you can تبحبحنا بالعلامات. Thank you very much, Doctor. This was Nawa Al-kayed.